And it's like I used to tell my kids growing up, don't make the big mistakes. And for guys, the big mistakes are spending more time on your job than you do with your family, having affairs. You know, it's big mistakes don't usually happen. You don't usually make a 90-degree turn right off the road. You make little turns. You like the way somebody smells or the way somebody looks, and you start flirting with them in the office, and then you agree to go have lunch together, just the two. That's how that happens. When we were doing the blue collar tour, they used to laugh at me because at the end of the night, we get through with the show and we go back to the hotel. Well, they always, you know, you got Ron with you, they're going to the bar. Come on, Fox, just one beer. And I got no problem with beer. I think this is very cool that they do this, but here's what I know about myself. I know what I came from. I know I like boobs. I can't help it. I think they're really pretty. But I knew what I came from. And I knew if I went in there and I had one beer and we're laughing and cutting up and one beer turned into 2 beers and 2 beers turned into 5 beers and then somebody with boobs sat down next to me, I knew what I was capable of doing. So it wasn't that I was better than them. I knew what I was capable of doing. And I thought, I knew what it felt like as a kid to have a dad that cheated on my mom and ended up leaving early. And I thought, I don't want to do that to my kids. So what I'm going to do is try to be wise, and I'm not going to put myself in that situation. I'm going to go back to my room, I'll order room service, and I'll call my wife. Am I a goody-goody? No, I'm just trying to be wise. I always say wisdom is knowledge plus scars. You know, you learn a lot of this stuff the hard way. So be wise and have a purpose. Like I was trying to think, if I could tell you anything, and it's the hardest lesson in life to learn for a guy, let go. As guys, we want to be in control. And the truth of the matter is, you're not in control of anything. You're not in control of your next breath. You're not in control of the way other people think or feel or act. You're not in control. And the sooner that sinks into you, then life starts being free. It's like dropping a 100-pound bag of sand off your shoulder. You know, when I was running through that pissed off period, if somebody would cut me off in traffic, man, I'd be that far off their bumper, and I'm giving them the salute, and screaming and yelling, and I don't know what happened, but at some point in my life they cut in, and I'm like, whatever, good. You get there 15 seconds before I do. But it was freeing, and I thought, man, the benefit of this is for me. I'd let somebody cut me off in traffic, jack up my whole morning. It's like, no, I'm going to let go. And when I was young, I used to be frustrated by the mystery of God. It's like, okay, if I'm not in control and He's in control, that frustrates me. I want to know the answer to everything. But knowing the answer to everything, think about if you're driving and you're out in the desert and that road is just stretched out 100 miles in front of you and you can see everything for 100 miles and it's just flat. Isn't that boring? Isn't that boring? And God's every morning, and here's one of the coolest gifts God gives us is days. Because He's not bound by time. He doesn't need time, but we are. And so when we screw it up, every 24 hours we get a new shot at it. I think that is just like one of the coolest gifts. It's like, boy, I really jacked it up yesterday, but today I got another shot at it. And I can get it right. And so I just embrace the mystery of whatever today's got going on. And it's, instead of being a long, flat, straight road, there's hills and there's curves and all. And it's almost like Him whispering, this next part's going to be cool. You're going to love this next part. What are we doing? I don't know. Just hold on. You'll see. It's freeing, man. And that frees you up to do what we were created to do, to glorify God, to love on other people. So I don't have to have the answer to everything. I don't have to know how this is going to end up. He's like, hey, if I love you enough to let them spit in my son's face and nail him on the cross for you, don't you think that I love you enough that I'm going to follow you all the way down this road? And I trust him with that. Yeah, but what about my neck? I got this bad vertebrae. He's like, shh. People always talk about hearing God talk to them. You know what God says to me 95% of the time? Shh. Shh. I got it. All we wanted was a daddy that was going to listen to us, a daddy that was going to love us on our good days and our bad days. And so what I did, and for my earthly father, I know why he acted the way he did, because when he was 5 years old, his dad, it's like the old joke, his dad went out for a pack of cigarettes and never came back. They found him 20 years later in another state, had another family. I mean, just abandoned him. So I'm like, well, hell, no wonder my dad was the way he was. But I freed my dad up from being that dad that had to give me all the things that I wanted. And I will tell you this, if you're a husband out here and you're thinking about leaving or thinking, no matter what you tell your kids, when a parent leaves you, no matter what that parent says in your mind, because this was me, you think I wasn't worth staying for. I felt that for so many years, and even though I'm a funny guy, I love the fact God let me be a funny guy. Underneath, I mean, that far under the surface, there was this anger or this insecurity that, man, I wasn't worth sticking around for. So if you're thinking about leaving, man, think that over. Because as a kid that lived through it hurts. And it's so much about what you're valued. I wanted to do it with enough time, because I know I got a weird job, I got a weird life, but to open it up to questions, and I'll be honest with you, I'll tell you whatever. In the back, yes, sir.
How did not having a father growing up influence your parenting style with your children?
You know, it's the question, if you couldn't hear, how did not having a father influence my parenting style? You know, when my career really started taking off, and it kind of, I mean, it went beyond anything that I ever thought, but I would lease a private plane. I would fly out of PDK, but I would fly home every night. So say on Friday night, if I had a show in Kansas City, I'd fly out there and I'd do the show, do all the meet and greets, sign all the stuff before the show. And as soon as I'd walk off stage, I'd go out the back door and I'd get on that plane and I'd fly home. Land at 2:30 in the morning, and I'd get up and I'd either take my kids to school if it was a school day, or I'd go to their soccer game or basketball or whatever the season was. Because of what happened to me, I always wanted my kids to know that they were the priority. They were worth everything to me. And then that afternoon, I'd go to their soccer game or take them to school or whatever, and then I'd go back at 4 o'clock, and I'd get on the plane again, and I'd fly to Minneapolis and do a show there and fly back home. And I did that for about 15 years. But, you know, you either, when you come from something, I think you either end up like it or you end up 180 to it. And so for me, I mean, it taught me the thing that I needed to do for my kids was the exact opposite of what my dad did for me. So, man, so be valuable. Be valuable in your family. Be that kind of dad that other kids go, man, I wish I had your dad. And I can tell you, as having a dad that was gone, their argument is, well, they want quality time. So to my dad, quality time was to come into town and take us to Six Flags. It's like the redneck, you know, Magic Kingdom. It really was. The kids don't want quality time. See, I would have sacrificed going to Six Flags just to have a dad that was there every night. Kids don't want quality time. Kids want quantity. They want that consistency. Be that dad. Be that husband. I didn't know from my dad that it was possible to love a woman longer than 2 weeks. I've been married for 33 years this year. All those years on the road. I had 8 years in a row, I did 500 shows a year. never being home. I know you're going, there's 365 days in a year, but that was like a lot of Fridays and Saturdays, 2 or 3 different places. Never cheated on my wife. And part of the blessing of it was I got to see the damage that happens when somebody did that. So, that's how I learned it. But be valuable in your community. And that's all Jesus was telling the Pharisees. And when they go, what about the law? He goes, love God and love on other people. Love on people in your community. That's what I do at the mission. I don't have all the answers. I just care about these guys. I was always doing stuff with kids with cancer. And if I saw somebody homeless, I'd give them $5 to go away, leave my car. See how I'm doing on time. So the first